Hello, everybody. I'm coming to you tonight. I was just sitting there doing some talking to a friend of mine. A friend of mine was telling about how far China and all of they are behind us. We're still in the lead, and we're still ahead of everybody in the world. And I know that to be a lie. See, most people have not been anywhere, and they listen to propaganda. This country is full of propaganda. I mean, you look at Fox News and all those places like that. It's propaganda. They're lying to you. Okay? I've traveled the world. I've seen it. I've been there. But I'm not going to stand here and tell it to you because you're not going to believe it. I mean, you're going to believe the propaganda machine this country is. It tells you that we're so far ahead of everybody else in the world, but we're behind everybody else in the world. I mean, they know that you're too stupid to believe the truth. So they tell you a lie. You know, don't understand that. I would figure that you'd rather know the truth, but a lot of you don't want to. You don't want to know the truth. You want to believe, live in that fantasy world, but that fantasy world is not there. So we're gonna get some reality to you, and we're gonna give you some things to listen to about the United States, where we are. The country, if you go there, it looked like the Jetsons compared to us. We look like we're in rice paddies. We're starving to death. We have no health care. All these other countries have free health care. Okay? It's college, it's free. All the things that we're paying all this money for and making other people rich, the government has for free. But yes, we have all this money. But all this money is going into the wealthy people's pocket because you voted for the orange orangutan. But let you hear it from the horse's mouth. Well, ChatGPT is not the horse's mouth. So I give you the information. This is where we are.
We are not a few years behind. We are decades behind. People keep hearing that China is a little ahead of the United States. A year, 2 years, maybe 6. That is a lie, and it's not a small lie. It's a dangerous one. Because when people hear a few years, they think we can catch up easily. They think nothing is really wrong. They think America is still leading. We're not. In the areas that actually move societies, transportation, infrastructure, deployment of technology, the United States is not 2 or 6 years behind China. We are 10, 15, in some cases 20 to 30 years behind. And I'm not saying that from a spreadsheet. I'm saying that as someone who has been there. Most Americans have never been to China. They've never seen cities that move, trains that actually connect a nation, airports built for the future, not patched from the past, systems designed to work together, rather. So when they hear China, they picture rice paddies, factories, smog, and poverty. That picture is manufactured. It's propaganda. The same propaganda that shows Africa as jungles and villages, never modern cities, never universities, never innovation. I've been to Africa. I've been to Ethiopia. What we are shown here is not the reality. What we are shown is what keeps Americans comfortable believing they are still on top. Let me be clear. In transportation alone, China is 20 to 30 years ahead in high-speed rail, 15 to 25 years ahead in modern passenger rail, 10 to 15 years ahead in highways and infrastructure quality, 10 to 15 years ahead in airport design and integration. That's not exaggeration. That's what it feels like when you step off a plane from the United States into China. It feels like leaving a third world system and entering a future-built society. And people here don't know that because they've never been allowed to see it. Now here's the part people really don't want to talk about. America likes to say, we will always innovate. That used to be true because of who built this country. Immigrants, people of color, scientists, engineers, doctors, researchers, the people who powered our universities, our labs, our hospitals, our technology sector. And now those people are being deported, blocked, discouraged, pushed out, erased. Students kicked out of schools, researchers told they don't belong, entire communities treated as disposable. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. Those people are not disappearing. They are going to China, Europe, Africa, Southeast Asia. Other countries are taking them in. Other countries are building their future on the people America is throwing away. So when people say, we'll always innovate, they're ignoring the fact that innovation follows people, talent follows safety, research follows welcome. You don't keep leadership by expelling the people who created it. At the same time, we are moving backward. Electric vehicles slowed, clean energy reversed, modern infrastructure stalled, old systems defended. This isn't just stagnation, it's regression. We are not standing still while China moves forward. We are walking backward while they continue building. And that means the gap doesn't stay the same. It widens. Every year we delay, they add capacity. Every year we argue, they deploy. Every year we fight culture wars. They lay track, wire grids, train engineers. And here is the hardest truth of all. This country is being pushed toward the idea of being a white country. That is not what America was built on. America was built on stolen labor, immigrant labor, black labor, brown labor, global talent. When you try to erase that reality, you erase the engine that made the country function. And what replaces it is not strength, it's decline. So no, this is not about being a few years behind. We are decades behind in the systems that actually determine national power. And unless people wake up to that, unless they stop believing the images they're shown and start listening to those who've actually been there, the lie will keep winning. Not because it's true, but because it's convenient. Closing line, optional powerful. The future is not waiting for America to catch up. It's being built right now by the people America is pushing away. If you want, next I can tighten this into a hard 3 to 4 minute version. Break it into part 1.
Well, I figured I'd give it to you because some of you will never leave this country. Of course, he's trying to stop people from leaving because he's revoking passports right now. He's revoking passports, trying to stop people from leaving the United States because there's so many leaving. I mean, they're not being deported. They're actually just getting the hell out of here. They know what's coming. I mean, you got a crazy lunatic running the country and a bunch of crazy people following. I mean, you know they can't be too smart. They can't even keep teeth in their mouth. But the thing of it is, they see what's happening. Do you realize MAGA right now, they're going through holy hell, starving and losing everything they got, the little bit they do have. The wealthy they got all theirs. The poor people are the one that's suffering. And then they're going through all of this, and they're still saying, I still think he cares about us. I'm like, are you just stupid? Or, I mean, there has to be a new kind of dumb. I mean, it must be a new dumb that came up after the pandemic. And, because, the pandemic, and then your brain would just stop working, and stop thinking. Because, when someone texts from and then he hides from you, don't even hear from him no more. He don't even come out and talk. He used to do all these rallies. He don't care. He told you at your rally, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. And then they didn't say that. They didn't respond to it. He looked there and laughed and said it again. I say it again. I don't want you. I don't care about you. I really don't care about you. I just want your vote. And you still didn't hear it. I mean, he didn't lie to you. He lied to you, but most of the stuff he told you the truth, you just ignored it. He lied so much when he told you the truth, you didn't believe it. Yeah, he didn't care about you. Now, he wants white America. That means white America with no health care, can't go to school, can't buy a house. You can have all these white Americans with no teeth, gumming on you, burnt. If you got teeth, they're gonna be burnt and black. Because you can't get dentists, you can't afford to go there, you can't afford to get health care, you can't afford to do anything, you can't afford to eat. But it will cut down on obesity. Because there ain't gonna be no fat people. Y'all gonna be walking around. If you are, your ass gonna be dragging on the ground. Because they ain't gonna have no skin under it. I mean, all you're gonna have is skin. You ain't no muscle under it. But the reality of it is, we are behind. Have been. And this year made it 10 times worse. Because the innovation that was going on in other countries, we at least had access to it. He took that away. Now we don't have access to any technology. We don't have access. Your cell phone is going to cost you $2,000. Well, mine cost $1,000, but that was only because I wanted a particular phone. But your little flip phone, about $2,000 to $3,000, if you can even afford to get that. Because where are phones coming from? China. You know, they talk about the innovation of the United States. Those scientists, if you go in any of those facilities, those software engineers, the scientists, and everything, and doing all the research, they're people of color. You walk in any of them, NIH, half of them in there, more than half of them were people of color. Okay, the people that actually know what they were doing, they were people of color. The research that's being done, the hospital, everything else, people of color. And then you're kicking them out of the country. You're going to have people coming from other countries come here, go to college here, and then they're going to come here and take their knowledge and put it into this infrastructure, like from India and everywhere else. You go into that, you go in the hospital. How many people from India? They're doctors and psychologists and nurses and everything else. How many of them are from China? How many are from Korea? How many of them from Philippines? How many of them from Mexico? I mean, all the people that built this country were people of color. Only thing y'all did was colonize and steal. Just some of you are smart. I'm not saying y'all dumb, but you know, you got that thing in your head that makes you think that you're better than someone, which makes you the opposite of Yahweh, because Yahweh, he hates people like that. He hates you know, oppression. He hates people who murder. He hates people who think that they're better. Supremacy. But yet, I forgot, y'all read that other Bible, right? That one that y'all made up back in Rome. You know, y'all was sitting in the back room doing a circle jerk meeting and came up with this. Oh, we're gonna put this in here, make white women less than us. We're gonna make every other race less than us. You know, pitiful. Babylon is falling, baby. So, guess what? America is the biggest Babylon. Did you know that Hitler used the United States model to start Nazi Germany? Did you know he followed the playbook of the United States to start Nazi Germany and killed all of the Jews? You know how messed up he is? Guess what? Y'all just as messed up because you did worse. Human doing that to another human, that tells you it's got to be some real messed up things in your head, because that didn't come from God. That did not come from God. Rape, murder, genocide, burning, tearing skin off a body and making shoes with it. Go to church on Sunday and get out of church early so you can go watch a hanging. That's messed up shit. That's a mental illness. Y'all are mentally ill. You know, Yahweh He's gonna take care of you. He has plans for you. But even now, I wouldn't want to sit around and watch what he's doing, what he's gonna do to you. I don't want to see that. And I'm not squeamish. I'm ex-military. And I spent a lot of time in the military. And I spent time in places that we can't talk about. So I've seen some nasty things. But none of them nastier than you. And you did it to your own ancestors. Because you came from black people. And you did it to your own ancestors. You raped your own ancestors. That's something wrong with you. If you remember, just giving you a lesson. If you remember you heard of the Dark Ages? Wasn't it funny that the Dark Ages wasn't anywhere else in the world except in Europe? Because in those days, y'all were still, taking dumps in the street. Y'all didn't have bathrooms. You didn't have streets. You just poured out the window in the street. When you get finished pooping or whatever you was doing, you was murdering each other, raping each other, cannibalizing each other, and guess what? In Africa, they had dynasties. At the same time, they had dynasties that had been there for thousands of years. Y'all haven't even figured out that you did not exist until 1861. No, 1681. But then you're gonna tell everybody you was in the Bible. Well, the Bible was back in the years 300 when they started. They ended around 800. So how did you get in there? You go back to the future. Okay, you have a nice day. I'm tired of talking to y'all. I sent you the information. You want to sit here and keep believing the propaganda that what they're smearing over your face? That's up to you. It's your choice. Have a good day, please.